So, as I was driving over here this morning, a song came on the radio by Hezekiah Walker. I believe that's who it's by. And the song is called Grateful. And there's a chorus, I guess I might be not saying that right, but there's a chorus in the song where they just continue to say over and over again, grateful, grateful. Oh, I love that song. And so I wanted to just offer us a moment to be grateful. Reverend Sheila, I think she said she changed the theme for November intentionally. She didn't have a Thanksgiving or any of that, but I heard that song, so I just have to bring it back to that. So if you haven't had an opportunity over the weekend to be filled with grace and thanksgiving, close your eyes, breathe in, and be grateful for that breath. Or find something else that you're grateful for. Maybe the center of peace. Maybe the people that are here that populate and constitute who we are. Maybe just that you have the ability to see. Maybe you're grateful for all the love that you have in your life. Maybe you're grateful for the peace that you get to experience on a daily basis. Maybe you're grateful for your health, your wealth. Don't it feel so good? It feels so good. So, this morning, I want to talk about living a joyous life. A life that's full of joy. Ernest Holmes says that a joyous life, here's his definition of a joyous life. He said, or what he has to say about life. He says, life is not just something to be endured, it is to be lived in joy, in a fullness without limits. And Twana says that living a joyous life, a life that's full of joy, for me, is having a knowingness, to be filled with knowing that life is good and that all things are working together for my good. I also think that a joyous life has to do with being. It's not doing, but being, when we can move into a place and a space where we are readily being love and being joy and being peace and being patient. Because what I know is there is a level beyond the intellect and understanding love and joy and peace and patience, and on that level, or in that level, we get to be it. We get to be love, we get to be joy, we get to be patient. So that's what we're bringing wherever we take ourselves, and undoubtedly, then that's what we'll receive. So that's my definition of joy. I guess in other words, what I'm trying to say to you is that in life, wherever you find yourself, if you are having an experience that's less than desirable, there's something you can do about it. There's something you can do about it. And this teaching shows us how. It tells us how. We believe that there's only one God, one mind, one power, one presence, one essence, and one energy. And we believe that we are one with this power, this presence, this essence, and this energy. We believe that this power and this presence is everywhere in its fullness and in its allness. Therefore, this power and this presence must be right where I am. And as the reading stated, this power, this presence is then seeking to experience itself, and the only way for it to experience itself is through us. So we are one with it. We are the vessel for it to have its experience of itself. Itself is love, itself is joy, itself is peace, itself is patience, itself is understanding. We're the vessels for it. That's how it happens. We believe that heaven is not some place that we have to go to, but that it is a state of mind that heaven exists right here on earth right now. This is all leading us to living a joyous life, or a life that's filled with joy. Now, I'm telling you all this because, especially now during the holidays, there may be some of us who might not be feeling as though we're one with God, or one with anyone for that matter. We might be feeling like something other than that life is not working out and things aren't so good. Or if you turn on the news and are filled with the information from the mass media about warring and terror and lives being taken, and so on and so on and so on and so on, you might not believe that life is good and that all things are working together for your good, that we can live a joyous life. You might be thinking that, but the reading told us that we're necessary for God's great opportunity to express itself through us. So it's important that we be here. It's important that we're here. It's necessary for us to be here. Everybody matters. Everybody matters. So I want you to turn to your neighbor, and I want you to say to your neighbor, you're important. You're important. You matter. It's necessary for you to be here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. So you might be wondering why I'm telling you all of this. I'm telling you all of this because I need to get to the point where I can talk about what the theme is. And our theme for this month is beginning anew. We've had some great themes that have led us up until this point. We've talked about choices. We've talked about releasing and letting go, transformation. We've talked about creating anew. And now we're talking about beginning anew. And when I was thinking about beginning anew, I was toying with starting anew and beginning anew, and trying to find out what beginning anew meant to me, or what did beginning anew want me to say today. And what I realized is that there is a distinct difference between starting and beginning. When you start something, it is with an end. You start a project and you end it. You start to cook a meal, it's done, it's finished. You start a conversation with someone, and the conversation is done. It's finished. It's end. You sing a song, it's over. It's finished. But when you begin anew, it's something altogether different. Beginning anew leads us into a space where we absolutely know that we are evolving and growing. Beginning anew, and I'm just asking us to look at it from this perspective. Beginning anew is without a beginning or an end. It's forever. It's forever. We are forever beginning anew. The reading said that every day is a new day. Every day is an opportunity for us to get a chance to begin anew. Beginning anew, it's an action word. That means there's something for us to do. We have to be involved. When we were creating anew, there wasn't any action that was taking place. It was all happening through us with our connection with God. But beginning anew requires us to take some action. And there's some, Reverend Sheila had given us a plan in beginning anew and how to do it, some action items, I think might be what she called it. And if you weren't here, I'm just going to run through them real quickly, but what Reverend Sheila said is in beginning anew that we get clear about what you want and you live from that space. And she said that you have to be willing to give up something, or you have to be willing to give something. She said that you should set a time frame in terms of when you want what you want to have happen. In a month, in a week, in 2 months, in 6 months, whatever it is that you're saying the time frame should be. And then she's saying that you should write out a plan, but don't get attached to the plan. Write a plan out. And then she suggested that we write out a statement. And the statement would say that, you know, I want this by this time frame, and so on and so on. So you're writing out a statement. And then she said the sixth step was to read the plan in the morning and in the night. When you first awake, read your plan, and then right before you go to sleep, read your plan. So that's what the action items were that Reverend Sheila gave us a couple of weeks ago in beginning anew. Now there are some things that you can, that you should know that you can expect when you are beginning anew. No matter what the situation is, no matter where you are, no matter what the circumstances are, you can always begin anew. And wherever you are is the right place and the right space for you to begin anew. And now is the time for you to begin anew. You can be assured that everything that you need, you're going to have. Beginning anew is necessary. It's necessary for us to evolve and to grow. And that all things are working together for our good. Now, I want to share a story with you, and not really a story, but an experience with you that Reverend Sheila and I had. We had gone somewhere and we had come back to the Center of Peace. And it was in the summertime, so we had the windows down. We were in her car, and we drove down the parking lot here. And when you drive down the parking lot, there's a bush right there. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but anyway, we were parked to the left, to the right of the bush, so we could see everything on the left-hand side. Kind of on the side of the building is where we were looking, where that the garages are. And right in that area and in that space, there are some rocks. Just rocks. And so we were talking, as we normally do, about any old thing, and we probably had made it about spirituality. That's what we do, pretty much, when we're together. And so suddenly we saw a cat over by the rocks. And the cat was just sitting there, kind of, you know, perched. I think that's the right word. and her butt was on the ground, and she was sitting there, her neck was up, her paws were out, and the cat was just sitting there. Now, I've seen a lot of animals on this property, but I've never seen a cat. I think we've been here like 6, 7 years. I've never seen a cat. I've seen deer, I've seen hawks, I've seen snakes, I've seen beavers, I've seen birds, I've seen geese, everything, but never a cat. So the cat was sitting out there, and the cat was just sitting there. So Reverend Sheila and I, we were still talking, and we were looking at the cat, and we said, oh, there's a cat right there. Oh, wow. And so then all of a sudden, a kitten came out. And the kitten was kind of tossing and turning and stumbling and tumbling, and we'd see the cat, and it would be on the rock, and it would kind of fall off the rock. And the mother cat was just sitting there. And she didn't move from the space that she was in. And so then Reverend Sheila and I, we said, oh, she's teaching the kitten how to walk. And so the cat would tumble off of the rock, and then the cat would run behind the rocks, and then all of a sudden you'd hear, meow, 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 right? And then the mother cat would go behind the rocks. And the mother cat would be away for a few seconds, and then suddenly the cat would appear again, the mother cat. And she would get back in her space, and she'd sit, like this, and then the kitten would come out again. And the kitten would tumble and stumble and do everything. And so we were watching it, and then we saw a second kitten. And this kitten did the same thing. It came out and it was tumbling and stumbling all over the place. We thought, oh wow, this is really cool. I've never seen this. So then both of them would stumble and then go behind the rocks and meow, meow, meow. And the mother cat would go behind the rocks. So that is what beginning anew is like. I don't know what the mother cat said to the kittens when we went behind the rock, but I'm sure it was something like, now, all things are working together for your good. You might fall a couple of times, but you can get back up. This is a safe place and a safe space. Look around, nothing's here to bother us. No one's going to be hunting us or chasing us. She probably lived in and kissed it, and she came back out, and she'd take her space and perch up and her paws out, and you'd see the kittens come back out again. So this went on for a long period of time. Finally I said, oh, Reverend Sheila, do you think maybe we should call somebody, like the cats, might really be hungry, and Reverend Sheila looked at me, with her wisdom, and she said, no, Twana, we're not going to call anybody. The cats are doing what they're supposed to do. They're in the right place, in the right space to evolve and grow. You can be assured in your beginning anew that you'll be supported. That wherever you are is the right place and the right space, and the time is now to begin anew. That all things are truly working together for your good. Now, some of you probably are pondering over your life and thinking about where you can begin anew in your own life. And if you can't find any area, any place, any space in your own life where you might be deciding and making a choice that you want to begin anew, let me lay this on you. Maybe we can just begin to live a full life and a joyous life. How about we begin anew there, to live a life that's full of love. A love for ourselves, a life that's so full of love that it flows over and flows out into every experience that we find ourselves in. See, beginning anew can take place and will take place in the job that you're not really desiring any longer. Or beginning anew can take place in the relationship that you might not be having the best experience with. A beginning anew can take place, and it will take place wherever we find ourselves. We're here to evolve and grow and have that great experience of the presence of God expressed through us. So a life that's full of love, a life that's full of intention and integrity. To begin to live a life that's full of intention and integrity. And I want to just read something to you from this book that I've been reading called Better Than Before. And she's talking about mastering habits of everyday living. And it's just a couple of paragraphs. And the title of this chapter is The Best Time to Begin. And where she has the word habit, you can substitute the word begin. So she says, persisting with a habit can be particularly hard when the habit doesn't yield flashy results. While there's the satisfaction of knowing that I'm doing what's good for me and holding myself to my intentions, rarely do I achieve glorious outcomes. She says that I found, however, that if I can get through this dry period, the habit truly takes over and proves itself by making my life better than before. Living a life that's full of integrity and intention. Beginning anew by living a life that's full of vision. That is where we are making conscious choices in our life. And living a life with a high level of expectancy. Expectancy that all things are working together for my good. Expecting that this day, today, will be a joyous day for me. A day full of joy. It's necessary. We're necessary. Living a life that's full of joy can happen. We have to believe that it can happen, otherwise we're believing that it can't happen. A life that's full of love, a life that's full of integrity and intention, vision, making high-level conscious choices, and expecting joy. Where we end in knowing that all things are working together for my good. 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 Come on and join me. All things are working together for my good. All things are working together for my good. All things are working together for my good. And as the song states, I think it's by Walter Hawkins, he says, all things are working together for my good. It's intentional and it's necessary. And it's amazing. Let us go within. And take the breath, realizing that there truly is only one life, one mind, one power, one presence, one essence, and that we are one with it. In its allness, in its fullness, in its goodness, and in its glory. Its life is our life, and our life is its life. Oh, it's a life full of joy and happiness, and love and wonder and awe. I speak my words of truth in this moment for myself and for everyone that's in this place and in this space. declaring and decreeing in this moment that only good awaits us. Everywhere we turn, everything we see, everything we hear, every opportunity that we bring our full selves ready to begin anew, we know that there's only good available, only good waiting to greet us, and we move into a place and a space where we open up to receive and accept it. We expect good in our lives. We see good in our lives when the world would have us believe something other. We see good in our lives when the warring is going on inside of our own selves. We're not fooled by it. We stand firm in knowing and holding on to the truth that this great expression of God flowing through us, experiencing itself, can only be good. It can only be what it is. So we let this be the way of our life. We let this be the way of our living, always with the intent of evolving and growing to become more and more of who we are. A joyous life, filled with knowing that this great power and His presence exists right where I am. It is me, it moves through me, it flows through me, and as me. My life is God's life, and God's life is my life. Oh, it's good, and I'm grateful for it. It's wonderful, and I'm grateful for it. It's amazing, and I'm grateful for it. It's necessary, and I'm grateful for it. So I'm affirming and knowing for each one of us that all things are truly working together for our good. We can let go now of any idea or thought that keeps us from experiencing this in the now moment, in the present moment. It's our life experience. So I'm just giving thanks for it. I'm grateful for it, for this life, for my life, for our life as God. Oh, I'm grateful. Oh, I'm grateful, and I wouldn't want it any other way. That I just move into that place and that space in where I release the words and I let them go. And I let it be so. And we anchor together by saying, and so it is.